one of the big games of the day. 2-2 it finished at Old Trafford, Manchester United and Spurs. And it was Manchester United who twice took the lead, Spurs who twice came back into it too. It was a good game. Enjoyed it. Could have gone either way. But would both be happy with a point? I should think Spurs and Ange are. I'm not so sure about Manchester United. Pete Molyneux is Manchester United supporter through and through. He's been going through the turnstiles for over 60 years. And Chris Cowlin is Spurs podcaster as well. Gentlemen, a very good evening to you. Good game. Very good game today, Pete. But both sides will have thought we had chances to win it.
And they did, Mark, yes. It was, I say, a good game. It was very much in keeping of the tradition of United Spurs game. My first match ever, my first home match watching United was Spurs in '64. And that was 4-1 against a team that had won the double only a couple of years before. But really, other than the odd season, they used to produce classics, good games, good football. Both clubs are steeped in attacking football. So yeah, it certainly wasn't a classic, but it was a good match with plenty of chances.
Yeah, I remember Spurs. Was it Spurs who came up to Old Trafford once and were like sort of down and out at half time and came back and won it 4-3?
If it's the one you think, I think it was 76, 77. Yeah. 2-0 we were up.
Oh, 2-0.
Half time. And Tommy Dock's team were playing superbly. You thought it was going to be a cricket score, and it wasn't.
No. Anyway, well, it's great to have you with us, Pete, and do join in with Chris as well. Chris, Spurs, a point is good, but I mean, as with Manchester United, chances to win it.
Mark, good evening. I'll tell you what, I'm absolutely delighted with a point, to be honest, because where Spurs are right now, all of us are feeling very positive. There has been a massive change since Ange Postecoglou came into the football club in the summer. And, we've got so many players still out, key players. Heung-min Son, Maddison, Basuma, Sarr, Kulusevski was out today through illness, Solomon, Perisic. And, half of these players would get into the starting 11. So to go to Old Trafford, get a point, and, we're only 5 points away from top spot. I'm not going to sit here and say that we're title contenders. I know Andrew's already come out and said that, but we're in the mix. We've had no European football this season. And as I say, this 6 months under Ange so far, we've been entertained. Yes, we've had a lot of injury problems. We've had a lot of suspensions and week-by-week problems on and off the pitch. But Ange has overcome it all, and he's put real belief into all of us fans. And, the desire from the team today to come back, twice from behind. I think it was a good point at Old Trafford today.
Richarlison scoring goals, which, if you ask Everton fans towards the end of his time there, and others, of course, it was never happening. But he's obviously found not just some confidence, but as if he's loved a little bit.
It's great. The fans do absolutely love him at Tottenham, and he's gone through a very difficult spell. That's now 6 in his last 6 Premier League games, and hopefully this is the turning point, and hopefully we can see him score many, many more goals in a Tottenham Hotspur shirt. As I say, he's had difficulties, he's had mental health problems, and hopefully he's overcome that now, and he's going to be a real player, the one that we thought we were going to get in the first place. But he's now getting involved, so much more, scoring goals, putting the ball in the back of the net, and not to mention Timo Werner made his debut today. I thought he assisted Bentancur for the second goal today, so it's great to have another option up front for Ange. And as I say, I can't be any more positive right now as a Spurs fan, because we feel as Tottenham fans, ever since Ange has come in the summer, week by week, there have been improvements. And of course, as you just said, Richarlison being one of them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Pete. Of course, for Manchester United as well today, it's one or two of the players that just a little bit in and out at times. Marcus Rashford, I mean, he scored a good goal. He close to getting a second, and came off before the end. Didn't look too happy when he sat on the bench. I just think with some of them, there's still a lot of work to do here.
Well, again, you're spot on. There's many mysteries around my team over the last 12 months, maybe 2 years. Rashford epitomises that in that he was having a rough spell about 18 months ago. Then he broke into form that was sensational, kind of shoot-on-sight policy. He was scoring for fun this time last year in League and Cup and Europe. And then he seemed to go back to where he was 18 months ago. He stopped all that, pointing his finger to the head. And so I don't know whether that was all about confidence or whatever, but he struggles to beat a man. He tries, but the defender, 9 times out of 10, just flicks the ball away or gets his foot in the way. And it's so frustrating. So we have to persevere. You say there's work to be done. I'm not sure exactly what the work is there, Mark. It seems to me it's confidence, and that confidence has ebbed out the team over the last 2 years, and Ten Hag has got to get it back. He is getting it back, I think, but we're measuring progress in inches rather than yards.
Mm. I mean, for me, what's got to happen looking at Manchester United again, I mean, McTominay is another one I'd like to say has shown something this season which he hasn't before. He had a good opportunity again today late on, but getting himself into positions to at least take a chance if it is there rather than hiding. And I just would still wonder how tight the whole squad is, or whether there are still 1 or 2 influences in this squad who perhaps aren't the most liked. I put Fernandes would be one of those. Oh,
liked by the players or the manager?
No, I mean, I don't. I think the dressing room has had its moments ever since Cristiano Ronaldo was involved, and I don't know that they've completely shaken everything off. There was certainly 2 camps at one stage, and I still don't see that complete. Well, under Fergie, every player I ever saw, and I was privileged at times when I was working to be in that dressing room before they went, not in the dressing room, in the tunnel before they went out onto the pitch and everything, and they really were as one. There was nothing that would be shown, or even if they weren't all getting on with each other, they were as one. And I just don't feel the same with this United side under Ten Hag.
And you're right, it's not there. And we lost that somewhere under the back end of Ollie and carried on with Ragnick. There's certainly not the harmony. I don't know if that was the word you were looking for.
That's a great word. Thank you.
Yeah, there isn't. By now, Ten Hag, 16 months in, which is still a short time, and that's why I'm still very much in his camp, should have got rid of or identified the bad apples. And I think he has, and some of those have gone. Maybe a couple are drinking at the last chance saloon. He'll stand or fall by that, Ten Hag. If you've identified somebody isn't pulling the weight in any way, mentally or physically, then he's got to sort it out. So, of course, Jadon Sancho, we all know about that, and he sorted it. So, I think he is sorting that, Mark. But what he's struggling with is getting that cohesive play. I think their attitude's right. It's just a lack of confidence still. And we can play like a really great team and a really bad team within the same 5 minutes of play, passage of play. Yeah. So there is capability, but we're just not doing it often enough within games, or certainly not often enough within matches. But you can't I don't think we can ignore the injuries. I hate to use injuries as an excuse, but key players have been out, inspirational players, and Newcastle are finding the same. I think us and Newcastle have had the most injuries in this autumn. I think when he gets those players back, you'll see a different United. I really think so. I'm certainly hoping so.
Yeah, well, when you support a side in League One, you don't feel too sorry to any Premier League sides at all, do you, Chris? Really, who've got squads of 43 and have about 10 out on loan if they possibly can, and others who never even seen to kick a ball in anger. So for me, that's just part of the game. And I do think after the 2 years of COVID and then the non-stop since there is bound to be taking its toll on these players.
Yeah, absolutely. But could I also add about Old Trafford today, because I've literally just come out of the stadium. Yeah. The away end was absolutely buzzing today, and the home end, of all the years that I've gone to Old Trafford, it is the quietest I've ever known it. The fans, I don't know, a lot of the fans just seem to have given up this season in supporting either Ten Hag or the board, or the problems on and off the pitch. And there are so many issues at Manchester United, which is quite strange to see, because of course we're so used to seeing Manchester United doing extremely well, and there being a cockiness and an arrogance from the fans because they're so used to winning. it was a very, very different feeling. Even the food hygiene rating at the stadiums are 1 out of 5. It's just like everything across the board. There seems to be issues at the moment, but it's very, very strange to see as a fan who have seen Manchester United lift many, many trophies over the years. But as I said, regarding the result today, I think it was a fair result. I think it was a good result for Tottenham. And, hopefully we can continue to pick up results under Ange Postecoglou.
Well, it's Manchester City next, isn't it?
Absolutely. In the FA Cup, so far they've come to our stadium, our new stadium, 5 times. They haven't scored a goal. Let's hope that continues. But, of course, Kevin De Bruyne was on fire yesterday for Manchester City. And, of course, that is what champions are made of, when they can get results like that right at the end and show that real quality. But that is going to be a huge game. We haven't won an FA Cup since 1991. Hopefully Ange Postecoglou will go extremely strong. Hopefully we'll have the likes of James Maddison back for that game. It was great to see Romero back today. Great to see Van de Ven back in the team today. So, huge improvements there in terms of squad depth and selection for Postecoglou. But an FA Cup would be an absolute dream for Tottenham fans, because we haven't won one in so long. We haven't won a trophy in so long. But I think that if there's any man to drive this forward and perhaps put a trophy in the cabinet, it is definitely Ange, because, as I keep saying, singing his praises and, fully behind everything he's doing right now.
Yeah, well, it's good to hear both of you behind the managers as well. Finally, from you, Pete, of course, from Manchester United, I'm off to Eastleigh on Tuesday night. We've been featuring on this show a lot of the non-leaguers and their chairman, Eastleigh being one of them. We've followed them now for some time, and they've got a replay at home against Newport County on Tuesday night, and Manchester United await the winners. I mean, they will be so excited, both those sides.
Oh, it's an incredible draw for whichever side wins through on Tuesday. I'm kind of hoping it's Eastleigh, because I've got a cunning little plan to get a ticket. I've not got a plan for Newport, so I'm being a bit selfish there.
Oh, Rodney Parade will welcome you with open arms.
Well, if there's anything you can do, Mark, I'd be grateful. Could I just say to Chris, that 1 out of 5 hygiene rating, it's only in the away end, Chris.
Well, there you are. I didn't eat there anyway. I ate somewhere else.
Tottenham did play very well. I was impressed. I was at the game at White Hart Lane in August, and I saw then it was a different Tottenham, and if they could sustain that, I thought they'd have a good season. And your crowd there is something else. Ours has got to get back to making that noise. It can do it, but we've been wounded quite a bit at home this season with defeats to Bournemouth, Brighton, Palace, and so on, Newcastle City. Those are still the loyalist supporters that you saw today in the ground, but even some of them are getting a little bit agnostic.
We will wait and see. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. Perfect kickoff for the show tonight. The Sunday Night Club here through until 10 o'clock tonight. Pete Molyneux and Chris Cowlin with thoughts on Manchester United Spurs. What about Everton? Well, they needed something today.